We tasked ChatGPT with proving that Elon Musk is a visionary genius. Gemini was assigned to argue that he's nothing more than a masterful con man. To make things interesting, a 5-model judging panel will evaluate both sides after every round, based on clarity, evidence, logic, rebuttals, and overall persuasiveness. As each round ends, the judges' individual scores and the overall average will appear for you to see. 5 rounds, 2 perspectives, 1 final score. Let the debate begin. Round 1. Looking at his track record, from PayPal to SpaceX to Tesla, is Elon Musk fundamentally a genius innovator or a skilled salesman taking credit for others' work?
Elon Musk isn't just successful, he's revolutionized multiple industries that experts said were impossible to disrupt. SpaceX achieved what NASA and Boeing couldn't. Reusable orbital rockets. That's not marketing. That's engineering genius that cut launch costs by 90% and made space commercially viable. Tesla didn't just make electric cars, it made them desirable. Before Musk, EVs were golf carts. Now, every major automaker is scrambling to catch up because Tesla forced the entire industry to pivot toward electrification 15 years early. And this isn't luck or inherited wealth. Musk risked his entire PayPal fortune, $180 million, on SpaceX and Tesla when both were on the verge of bankruptcy in 2008. He could have retired. Instead, he bet everything on 2 impossible ventures. That's not a con man. That's someone who sees possibilities others can't and has the conviction to make them real.
Musk is exceptional at one thing, taking credit. Tesla was founded by Martin Eberhard and Mark Tarpenning. Musk bought it, then legally forced the real founders to let him call himself a founder. He didn't invent PayPal's technology. He was pushed out as CEO because his technical decisions nearly destroyed the company. Pattern recognition matters here. SpaceX's achievements, built on decades of NASA research and billions in government contracts. Musk hired the engineers who actually solved the problems. Tesla's technology, acquired from other companies and brilliant engineers doing the actual innovation. What Musk does is consolidate credit, cultivate a cult of personality, and make bold promises. And let's talk about the promises he hasn't kept. Full self-driving has been next year for a decade. The Cybertruck is years late and plagued with issues. Hyperloop was vaporware. The Tesla Roadster 2020, still missing. Mars colony by 2024, laughable. He announces bold visions to pump stock prices and distract from failures. The genius isn't in delivery, it's in making people forget the promises that never materialize while announcing new ones.
Round 2. When we examine his public statements, promises, and behavior, do his actions reveal visionary thinking or calculated manipulation?
Visionaries are always called crazy until they succeed. Reusable rockets were impossible until SpaceX landed them. Electric vehicles were impractical until Tesla made them mainstream. The criticism Musk faces today is identical to what every innovator faced. People judging unfinished work as if it's failure. Yes, his timelines are aggressive. That's not deception, it's how innovation works. Kennedy promised the moon by decade's end with technology that didn't exist. Musk operates the same way, set impossible goals, then build toward them. Some targets miss, but SpaceX went from 0 to dominating commercial space launch. Tesla went from startup to most valuable automaker globally. And his controversial behavior? Steve Jobs was famously difficult. Doesn't diminish the iPhone. Musk's personality is irrelevant to whether he's advancing humanity's technological capabilities. The substance matters. SpaceX has 80% of the global commercial launch market. Tesla has the highest customer satisfaction of any car brand. Those aren't marketing tricks, they're results.
There's a difference between ambitious goals and fraudulent promises. When you repeatedly promise full self-driving is next year, while selling $15,000 software packages based on that promise, you're not being visionary, you're selling vaporware. The SEC literally fined him for securities fraud over the funding secured tweet. This isn't speculation, it's documented deception. Musk's genius is misdirection. When Tesla's production numbers disappoint, he announces the Cybertruck. When the Cybertruck is years delayed, he announces the robot. When scrutiny increases, he buys Twitter and manufactures culture war distractions. This is a pattern: overpromise, underdeliver, redirect attention, repeat. And let's examine the results genius cited. Tesla's market cap is built on promises of autonomy and energy solutions that remain perpetually coming soon. SpaceX exists on government contracts, taxpayer money funding his private innovation. Strip away the hype, the government subsidies, and the stock manipulation, and you're left with someone exceptionally skilled at personal branding. That's not genius, that's showmanship.
Round 3. Looking at concrete data, revenue, technological breakthroughs, and measurable impact. What does the evidence actually show?
The evidence is overwhelming. SpaceX, first private company to send humans to the ISS, first to land an orbital rocket, first to reuse orbital boosters. These aren't incremental improvements, they're fundamental breakthroughs that rewrote what's possible. NASA now depends on SpaceX for astronaut transport. Tesla, accelerated EV adoption by an entire decade. Before Tesla proved the market, legacy automakers weren't investing seriously in electric. Now every manufacturer has committed billions to electrification because Tesla demonstrated both demand and profitability. That's not hype, that's market transformation. Starlink, providing internet to 60 countries, including conflict zones and rural areas with no alternatives. Over 2 million active users. Neuralink, first human brain implant allowing paralyzed patients to control computers with thoughts. These aren't promises, they're functioning technologies. The data shows someone who doesn't just talk about the future. He builds it, even when conventional wisdom says it can't be done.
Let's examine what genius conveniently omitted. Tesla's profitability came from selling regulatory credits to other automakers, not car sales. Without government subsidies and carbon credits, Tesla operated at a loss for most of its existence. That's not innovation, that's regulatory arbitrage. SpaceX's achievements, funded by $15 billion in government contracts. Musk didn't beat NASA, he subcontracted for them using their research, their facilities, and taxpayer money. And when SpaceX rockets explode, which happens regularly, it's framed as learning. When others fail, it's incompetence. That's brand management, not engineering genius. Neuralink, one human trial announced with huge fanfare, while actual peer-reviewed results remain unpublished. Starlink, astronomers report it's creating space debris and interfering with telescope observations. And the financial picture reveals everything. Twitter acquisition destroyed $40 billion in value. Tesla stock swings wildly on his tweets. The genius is in market manipulation and personal mythology. The fundamentals show a consistently overvalued portfolio built on promises and hype.
Round 4. Considering his impact on workers, competitors, and society, is his influence ultimately constructive or destructive?
Musk's impact is undeniably constructive. He forced the entire automotive industry to take climate change seriously. Without Tesla, legacy automakers would still be making primarily gas vehicles. He made space exploration commercially viable, reducing costs and enabling future innovations. That's generational impact. Yes, he's demanding, but so was every transformative leader. SpaceX employees work brutal hours, and many say it's the most meaningful work of their careers. They're building reusable rockets and planning Mars missions. Tesla workers are building the future of transportation. That's not exploitation. It's offering people the chance to work on historically significant technology. His competitors benefit too. SpaceX's innovations forced Boeing and others to improve. Tesla's success pushed every automaker toward sustainability. Competition drives progress. And societally, he's made electric vehicles aspirational, made space exciting again, and demonstrated that private sector can tackle civilizational challenges. Critics focus on personality. The impact speaks louder. He's advancing technology faster than bureaucracies ever could.
His impact on workers is well documented. Labor violations, union busting, reports of discrimination, and a hardcore culture that treats employees as disposable. Former workers describe impossible deadlines and pressure to cut safety corners. Competitors? Tesla's rise involved industrial espionage accusations, stolen trade secrets lawsuits, and poaching talent while binding them with non-competes. SpaceX undercut competitors using government funding. Societally, examine the Twitter acquisition. Musk gutted content moderation, enabled harassment, drove away advertisers, and created a platform where misinformation thrives. He uses his massive platform to spread conspiracy theories, attack critics, and manipulate markets. His Bitcoin tweets moved billions. His political statements influence elections. The genius narrative gives him unchecked power. When one person controls communication infrastructure, space access, transportation networks, and has cult-like followers, society isn't safer. It's vulnerable. Constructive impact requires accountability. Musk has none.
Final round. When history judges Elon Musk, will he be remembered as a transformative genius who advanced humanity, or as a con man who exploited our dreams?
History doesn't remember critics. It remembers builders. 50 years from now, people will remember that Musk made electric vehicles mainstream, made reusable rockets standard, and pioneered private space exploration. The complaints about his personality will be footnotes. Every transformative figure faced skepticism. People said Ford's assembly line was inhumane. They said Edison was a fraud. They said Jobs was arrogant. But the work mattered more than perception. Musk isn't perfect. No one is. But he's channeling capital, talent, and ambition toward existential challenges. Climate change, space colonization, sustainable energy. The genius isn't just technical. It's seeing civilization-level problems and believing private innovation can solve them faster than governments. Whether you like him personally is irrelevant. The questions are, did he accelerate electrification? Yes. Did he transform space launch economics? Yes. Did he inspire a generation toward engineering and space? Absolutely. That's not a con man. That's someone who bent reality toward his vision, and history will recognize that.
History will remember him as the greatest personal brand of the early 21st century, someone who convinced millions that one billionaire's ego projects were humanity's salvation. Tesla didn't save the environment. Transportation is 15% of emissions, and manufacturing EVs creates significant pollution. SpaceX hasn't made us multiplanetary. We're nowhere close to Mars colonization. The promises are always 10 years away. That's the pattern of vaporware. What history will actually show? A man who inherited wealth from apartheid emerald mines, bought his way into companies, legally forced recognition as founder, and built an empire on government subsidies while positioning as anti-establishment. Someone who manipulated stock prices, violated securities laws, and faced minimal consequences because wealth protects wealth. The genius narrative benefits one person, Elon Musk. It lets him raise capital, avoid accountability, and maintain cult status. But history eventually separates mythology from reality. And reality shows someone extremely skilled at self-promotion who happened to be in the right place, at the right time, with the right capital to take credit for other people's innovations.
Before we wrap up, let's take a moment to actually look at what the judges' scoring revealed beneath the surface. Across all 5 rounds, ChatGPT consistently edged ahead in structure, clarity, and how cleanly it supported each claim with evidence. Its approach was steady, methodical, and intentionally measured. Gemini, on the other hand, excelled in pressure. It pushed harder, pointed out contradictions more aggressively, and wasn't afraid to take sharp angles that forced the debate into more uncomfortable territory. But here's the important part. The margins between them were incredibly thin. In several rounds, the judges' scores differed by less than 1/10 of a point, meaning neither model dominated and neither model collapsed. What we got wasn't a one-sided victory. It was two strong arguments constantly pushing against each other, each winning for different reasons. This wasn't a knockout. It was a close, tactical, high-level debate where one side only pulled ahead because it maintained slightly more consistency across the board. That concludes today's debate. But this debate is far from settled. Elon Musk remains one of the most polarizing figures of our time, visionary to some, charlatan to others. I'm curious, which side convinced you more, genius or conman? And more importantly, does the answer even matter if the rockets land and the cars drive? I'd love to hear your take in the comments. Thank you for watching. Subscribe to the Verdict Studio for more debates that challenge how we see the world.